Well, I'm a different person today from what I was back 4 years or 4.5 years before my spiritual awakening happened. Quality of getting to know who you really are, getting to at least a little awareness to really understand who you really are is simply spiritual awakening. And as far as I know, a lot of people out there are having a spiritual awakening right now. It is happening to a lot of people. It's not thousands, it's not 10,000s, it's happening to a lot of number out there. And this can be happening during the most toughest time of your life. So what is spiritual awakening? And how can it be simplified that is understandable by any human being? It is the sense where you move into your own awareness from whatever you thought this is what I am, to be moving into the statement that would often strike back to back at the back of your skull, which says there is something more than this. There is something more than this. So what is this more we are talking about? It's all about you facing your divinity. Yes, you are a divine being in this cosmic conscious connected one world of a happening, where for a lot of time you thought this is a separate entity and the whole world is a separate entity, where when your stages of awakening starts, you start to experience a whole lot of changes, where you feel your inside is going outside and the outside is going inside, and no kinds of things are going very smooth in your life. You're in the most depressing stages of your life, and you think your life is not worth. There's so many problems that you can't figure out what to do about it. Hello, namaste divine beings, welcome back to another episode. I often get this question about my experience about spiritual awakening, and I thought, why not cover that as an episode today? Having a spiritual awakening, I should not say believe, but yeah, I still can put it in that term, so it's much simplified to understand, is one of the purpose of your life. Because for me, when it hit, it got me questioning myself. Like, I'm not just here because two people had sex and the sperm and the egg had to go in with sync with the cosmic vibration for a life to happen, and then the life happens, and then you go through the whole drama of growing up, and then you're struggling your life for survival, and you do a whole lot of drama, and then you think one day death is going to happen, and after you're dead, you're going to be, rewarded in some place else when you really can't be living fully in this piece of life that is happening. And suddenly there is a light that just opens up from the within, where you get to see your worth. You get to understand that you are loved. You get to see your problems, your situations as not some crazy happening. You tend to find solutions to the things that you thought was impossible and is the biggest happening, and you kind of want to give up on life. You get into a sense of deep inner sadness. You just feel sad for just no thing. Or you could be one of them who just completely withdraws yourself from the world. You like to be lonely, you like to be alone. You don't tend to go along with your friends and family. To you going into unusual sleep patterns. Have you noticed your body just waking up, you're not able to sleep during the time 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Or you tend to have dreams which are so very intense. It could be with regards to bloodshed, the most horrific deaths, creatures that you can't imagine, you get to see. Or sometimes you feel like you're physically distorted, where your body, you don't feel your body, You can't feel your legs, your hands. This is a separate entity and you're just holding on to something. Or sometimes you're on a stage where you feel that you have to be coming home. This is enough. Whatever you're doing on the planet, it is just not happening. And if you have reached this far on this video, just understand you're already on your spiritual awakening stage at some point of your life that is happening right now. And as far as how spiritual awakening can be a beautiful, beautiful experience for a lot of people, it can also be tremendously stressful, horrifying for a lot of people that one can find very difficult to live through. So becoming aware deeper inside of you about yourself, understanding there is something more bigger of a happening than just this that I thought is what I am. What is this I am thing? From the time we're born, a name is given, a religion is given, religious beliefs are given, teachings are given, the way we grew up, the society, the culture. There's a whole lot of accumulations. And there has always been a rat race for survival if you're a human being. So you're just on a confused path for so many years, 20 years or 30 years, depending on when this light of something hits you where you get to understand that you're not some separate entity, some child of God, but you are the entirety of the whole happening, which is blossoming as a manure in different life forms. And this life form is happening as a human being, which is a blessing, but a lot of people struggle with this piece of blessing that is happening. You get to go about understanding what all these great yogis and masters and the gods who said everything is manifesting from one energy in different packages and forms. So you get to connect to that life force as you, because that thing is happening right here. It's not from somewhere outside floating somewhere up in the clouds. It's right here happening. You as the whole universe is happening. But the problem is whatever you thought about yourself or the world around you suddenly starts to make no sense. You can't just agree to any of your beliefs, teachings, whatever you have gathered as your accumulations of the identities of this being something and everything else being something, just collapses. And let me also tell you, awakening is not the final stage. It doesn't mean that you had a spiritual awakening, so the life is transformed. No, for a lot of people, myself too, I still work on it every single day. Transformation happened over many years. It's not that my spiritual awakening happened and I just knew and life transformed and I'm full joyful, all loving, all kind. No, it's not been. There are situations and people coming knocking on your head most of the time, because a lot of people really don't understand that they themselves are in an eternal spiritual happening that is happening as the whole thing, and they are a part of the same spiritual journey. They would take time depending on their karmic cycle, their energy cycle, and from how much they are able to accept, because acceptance is one damn hard thing for a human being to accept about yourself, because you're coming in contact with your own divinity. You're facing your divinity, and that divinity will show you all the shadows that you have created and accumulated for yourself, thinking this is what I am. And when you get to break that, people can find it really, really hard because of something called as lack of self-acceptance. When my first spiritual awakening hit me, I still had a lot of accumulations of this ego factor. Though I felt this is not separate and that is not separate. Everything is just one conscious energy happening, including the human body, because human body is that conscious self of awareness of this being that has happened. Not just because God decided to just make a joke after 7 days of creation and send you and me on the planet Earth today, making and watching this video at this point of time in 2021 to say, all right, we've come here to live, do whatever rule book somebody is given, and then go hunt for fruits of heaven, or get your thing for your deeds in a hell. People are still in the hallucination of a whole lot of drama that is happening. So you tend to break all these cycles. So when things happen to me, I went into a very, very depressing stage. I'm struggling with myself. I really don't feel worthy about me. I don't feel loved. I don't feel a purpose of life to live. And you have all kinds of beings who really, I would say, are in the kindergarten stuff. They go about selling gods and heavens and all that thing. So I went into all that trauma, this close of getting converted as well. And then something hit me, you have stages of awakening. It's not just one thing that happens and, you're transformed. No, it's sometimes transformation can happen from the time your first awakening happens, where you're so aware of being yourself, of who you are consciously. You start implementing your awareness consciously and working to manifest the full potential of who you are, to be an expression of the potential of the divine self. And that's really hard for a lot of people. For me, when my awakening happens, there's a whole lot of egoistic identity still going on. So I really wanted to go out and tell people, what do you think life is? It's just not that. You have just complicated life as a rat race or a number game. You're just not understanding who you really are. And this created a lot of, you can name it whatever terms. But then I started to realize there's no point you trying to go show somebody how to change. You really can't do any change in the world. The only change you can bring about in the world is from here. This thing, the change, happens the way you want to the world to be expressing. If you can implement that, starting from here, you would start to see that the world is changing. You don't have to bring in any addition, multiplication, subtraction to, get changes to the world. Just one thing, get this fixed the way you want, and things will happen. The changes already happened in the world. It's like that. But the transformation part, it takes for a lot of people to accept, because one fights one's own shadows of all the identities, and it's just not an accumulation of just this lifetime. A lot of people are suffering, the animal instincts. Have you ever come across people who are like so crazy and you're trying to figure out why are you like an animal? Because they're just out of the animal kingdom. They will take time to realize that even being human is a conscious state of awareness of that energy source to be happening. And we're not just here to be just doing some time passing for whatever little time we are, but we are something more than what is happening in there. So it's all about bringing out the best of the better self of what you were yesterday to what you are today. And it's a constant work that gets to be put in every single day, every single moment. Because even after your spiritual awakening, you can't just say you are completely conscious 24 hours every moment of your life. Subconsciously or consciously, if you can just pay a little attention to this thought, you will understand that you are really not conscious. It comes over practice and efforts, and this is your journey. It comes over time. So you're just working with yourself this moment, because this is the only moment that you can accept as your reality, because you are alive this very moment. If you think, yeah, I'm going to be living for the next 10 years, and if you start to plan for that 10 years, you're still not conscious about the true being of what you are right now. You're getting into another hallucination of trying to build something of yourself. You're creating another identity which is not even real. So what is the real thing that you have to experience? The you that is happening. And this is the divine form where, this is just complete just by itself. It's just that we think it is not complete. We have a lot of complaints, dissatisfactions about this. You have a problem with the skin color, you have the problem with the looks, you have the problem not having the money, like how your neighbor is having. You're not, kind of having you're pretty much sad about not having a lifestyle of like how the other person is having. A whole lot of drama. The whole lot of drama is just a struggle period. Every animal on the planet survives. What is survival? You just need a little food to eat. But you're not satisfied with very little. That's the problem. You want more and more and more. And one point of time, because death will give this. If we can get this before death happening at the moment of the deathbed, trust me, you would have made a beautiful life of whatever time period you lived. Because when you look back, that's what is important. It's not how much money you made, what kind of lifestyle you lived. Nothing would really matter. Because you won't be even taking a strand of your hair. The only thing that you would carry forward is the knowledge that you have acquired to really know this self of who you really are. Otherwise, it's just a cosmic joke, like how a lot of gurus talk about, and it's very true that way if you look at it. You're just born here one day, and you're reproducing, and you're dying one day. In between that, you're doing a whole lot of drama, and you really don't understand who you really are. So spiritual awakening, this is all it is, guys. Every moment, your awareness, you try to improvise your awareness consciously to better yourself from what you were yesterday, knowing that true possibility of who you are without no attachment, no identities, but just love, compassion, joy, bliss, ecstasy, kindness. This is all you are, and not a whole bunch of accumulated nonsense that is happening. Alright, so I hope you liked today's video. Do let me know in the comments. Until I meet you all in a new episode, do take care of yourself. I hope there's a little food to eat for anybody who's hungry out on the planet, and some self-time, self-care, and self-attention. Much needed. Do take care. Bye-bye for now.